There are tons of books out there that claim that they can teach you how to be rich, how to be a millionaire, but let's be honest, the vast majority of them don't actually work. I'm a financial advisor who has worked with 36 millionaires from all across the country. In this video, we're going to cover exactly what you need to know. The first thing is, books are great resources. I'm not here to shade no book out there except for the one by Robert Kiyosaki. I'm gonna just leave it. We can talk one-on-one. We can talk one-on-one about my beef with Rich Dad Poor Dad. Anyway, outside of that, I think most books are good at getting you started, but there's a difference between actually reading the information and retaining it and using it. So what have I learned from working with millionaire clients, and what have I learned on my own journey to my first $1 million? The first thing is, it has been boringly simple, exceedingly simple. The people that I meet with in their financial journeys, even their financial plans for the most part, it's not fancy. It is not the most, sizzling plan. And it's like, oh my God, they're doing all this stuff. They're day trading. They trade options, blah, blah, blah. No, a lot of the times where you're seeing these things on Instagram that go viral, that's usually not it. And the reason why is because simplicity is something that can be repeated. And most importantly, you want your plan, your structure to be simple so that you don't burn out. That right there is the key, because a lot of times when you're doing this extreme stuff, you're trying to never eat out again, you're trying to have this super complex investing strategy, and you're doing all this crazy option trading, you're trying to day trade and do all you can to really grind out, you grind yourself out at the end of the day. Yes, sometimes you can make some money, and then other times you just pass out or you relapse into some bad habits that you don't necessarily want to be in. The millionaires that I have worked with are like, hey, I've been doing this one thing. I've been doing this one thing very well, and I want to continue doing this thing. Here is what I want to do, or here's how I want you, in my case, to help me to continue to do this thing. Am I on the right track, and how can we just ensure that this is going to give us a 90+% chance of success? It don't have to be exciting. Your financial plan shouldn't be entertainment. And let's just be honest about that part. I don't know when this entertainment factor became a thing. Maybe it's because it's on TV, but we started confusing finances with entertainment. It can buy you entertainment. Ain't nothing wrong with that, okay? As long as it's in the budget, right? But the actual plan and the process of investing, the process of making a real plan, is not supposed to be your level of entertainment. I don't get into my investing account to be entertained. I don't look at the stock market to be entertained. It is there to do a job, and the job should be building wealth, and that part of it should be boring. Making money is fun, but I don't get in there like it's a casino. When you are doing it that way, that is where you start to mess up, because your results are not consistent. You get emotionally tied to it, and that can hurt you when the tables do turn. So that is lesson number one when it comes to working with millionaires and what you can learn from it. Speaking of what you can learn, I'm a financial planner. I can help you build clarity, confidence, and momentum in this here economy. Yeah, this economy. We can talk one-on-one at buildingbread.com/call Kev. That call is free. We can sit down and figure out, hey, what you're investing in, what's going wrong, what's going right, and how we can keep you on track. All right, moving on to number two. I have not found a millionaire client, or friend for that matter, who is alone. What I mean by that is, there's the one quote where you hang out with 8 millionaires and you'll be the 9th or something like that. They usually have some form of mentorship, some form of team around them, and there is a real benefit to doing so, and that is because it reduces the cost of their mistakes. I'm gonna say that again. It can help reduce the cost of making a mistake. For example, you lose 25% in the stock market, it's going to cost you 33% just to make even. It is more difficult to find an investment that is going to make you 33%. Okay, I didn't say it was impossible, it is more difficult. For example, here is how this works. Let's say that you are someone who is investing in 2020. As somebody who has been investing for longer than that, I can come in and say, hey, look, I don't think meme stocks make a whole lot of sense. And you can either say, hey, I'm going to listen to people in my circle who are experienced and say no to meme stocks, no to penny stocks, and not invest in those things, or you can take it and lose that money. right? Do you have those people in your circle, or are you going to lose that money and then try and dig your way out of it? Those are the differences, having people in your circle. There are people on this here channel who have been with me this entire time, and y'all were here when I said, hey, don't panic about the tariffs, and y'all made money last year. There were people who've been with me all the way back in 2020. I said, hey, don't panic, and y'all been making money ever since, right? Having people in your circle. Now, it is great if either you've hired those people for that person as your advisor, if these people are close personal friends, if you're in some sort of mastermind, provided that it is actually providing value. Get it however you need to, but having those mentors, those people, those experts around you can help to reduce those mistakes, the cost of those mistakes. And again, this also happens professionally. It doesn't have to be financially in and of itself, because if you got somebody who is a senior person in your field to say, hey, look, you might actually want to go and do this field, go out and get this specific training or this degree, or talk to this person so you can get a promotion, that can help you as well. Those are the benefits of having people around you who are experienced. It is extremely rare where I have seen somebody who's been a millionaire, got all this stuff together, and don't have nobody around them. Nothing, no guidance, none of that. Most of the time, it is either family wealth or it is knowledge passed from generation to generation to generation. And that is where they are getting that guidance and wisdom from. Or they're in rooms where they're getting that information, or they're paying for the expertise because they have an advisory council where they got a financial advisor, they got an attorney, they got an accountant, and all 3 or 4 of them are helping them with those decisions. In either case, they are getting that wisdom from all of those people, as opposed to getting it the hard way. Because you can learn those things on your own. It's just going to cost you in learning the hard way. It's up to you to choose which route you want to learn it from. The next one is you have to ask yourself why. And I'll pause there for a second. You want to ask yourself why and give it space. And I want you to ask yourself why, both for investments and for any just general consumer purchase. Because the millionaires that I have worked with, they do so by being very intentional with the things that they purchase and the things that they invest in. They do that because they don't want to waste their money on a bad investment. They don't want to waste their money on expensive stuff that isn't going to be worth anything to them and isn't going to be worth anything for the long haul for them either. That is the key thing here. So I'm not just why am I buying this specific shirt? Why am I going on this vacation? Am I doing it because I want to take pictures of the vacation and show off to people? Like, is that really why I'm going? Or am I going because I've always wanted to travel to this destination? If I never posted pictures about it, if I didn't have Instagram at all, would I still go? Like, why am I truly trying to save up and go to this place? Why, right? Ask yourself, why am I trying to do this thing? Why am I trying to invest in this specific stock? Because that helps you to dig more into the research process. Because some people, like, hey, I want to invest in this stock. Why? I saw somebody post it on my timeline and I think it's going to go up. That ain't good enough. Now, we need to dig in more to see why that's the case, because millionaires do that. I'm not going to put my money into something that I'm not entirely sure. I need to increase the chances of success as much as I personally can. And to do that, I need to keep asking why. Why is it supposed to go up? Who said that? What type of research have we plugged into that? And the question I always ask is, what type of environment is going to support that investment? Why is it supposed to do that thing? These are the questions you absolutely have to ask, because that investment is supposed to be the thing that pushes you towards millionaire status. But if you're not asking why enough times for the things that you are just purchasing for fun or around you, and you're not asking why for the things that you're investing in, is going to make it more difficult to hit that level. And going back to the thing that we talked about earlier, having people around you, they can help to answer those things for you. They can say, hey, look, it might not make sense to, for your very first apartment, get everything from Rent-A-Center. Been there. And that was a debt trap that they avoided right? That could have kept them there for who knows how long if they didn't know a better route. Why do you feel like you had to have a fully furnished apartment the day you walk off the graduation stage? In all actuality, you don't. You absolutely don't. You should be saving and building up your foundation. You don't have a whole bunch of people to impress. But if you don't have those people in your circle and you're not asking yourself why, then you fall into those traps and you start off in debt. And you start off your 20s all the way up into your early 30s trying to dig yourself out of it. And now you're 10 years behind on your investing journey. These are things I know, right? And then you move into this. Millionaires think in decades, not days. They think in decades, not days. A lot of the times, and I know this because I've had jobs. I feel like I've had jobs my entire life, but I started working until I was like 16. But in the case, it's like, hey, I get paid every Friday. I get paid every 2 weeks. I'm just staring at that calendar. How long do I need to wait? How long do I need to make this paycheck stretch until I get to that day? And then we'll figure it out. Put it in envelopes, stretch it out, put it in a different pocket, whatever it is I gotta do until the next paycheck. However, millionaires, whether it is great today or not, are already thinking about what I'm doing for the next decade. What can I do today in, 2026? That's gonna set me up for 2036. That is what you need to be doing now. Now, that doesn't mean that you're always going to have all the funds today. That's part of having vision. That's part of, again, having people around you to help you to do that. But it is starting to set the ground, start to plant the seeds, till the soil, whatever metaphor it is that you want to use to get that stuff ready so that you are prepared for that time. We've said this all the time, right? And I said it back then. You can go back and scroll in videos 6 years ago. I'm telling you, the camera quality was not great. But if you did, you know that I said the people who were going to be rich in 2025 were the ones who were investing in 2020. Was that a lie? No, it was not. No, it was not. All right. And that is the case right now. Those who are going to be rich in 2036 are the ones who are investing and planning right now. The book that I am working on right now, that didn't come out of nowhere. I started planning that in 2023, 2024. And it don't come out until 2027. So you got to sit down and start to plan those things years in advance, even though you might not have all of the money today. It doesn't mean you necessarily have to spend a ton of it either. When I was sitting down at 22, I knew where I wanted to be at 32, but it was like, hey, all right, look, I ain't got but $100 a month. However, that's where I'm starting. And I know if I continue to work, if I continue to save, I'm going to be somewhere, right? And that plan is going to continue to grow and change and evolve and get to where it needs to get to. But you have to start and build something thinking, hey, 10 years from now, this is where I want to be. 5 years from now, this is where I want to be. Next year, this is where I want to be. And that is how that starts. Millionaires are already thinking in those decade spans. I know where I want my kids to be in 10 years and how wealthy I want them to be. That's why my kids had accounts the day they were born. Savings, investing, and everything in between, right? We had that started because I knew day one, where should you be at 10 years? Where do I want you to be at year 20? I had to start thinking in decades. Does that mean you're going to be there in a straight line? Absolutely not. Learn that from experience as well. But is having a plan, once you have a plan, it's easier to adjust a plan than not having one at all. Now, I told you that I was going to reveal, I guess, how close I am. I'm at about, and the market changes, and it did fall 800 points on Monday, which is why I'm recording this. Depending on if you're in our members only or not when you are seeing this video, but it's about like 850,000 net worth. So right about 150 to 200,000. So I am close. Depending on how the market goes this year, it could come in the next 2 to 3 years. Again, depending on where the market goes and how book sales go. We'll see. In either case, I'm getting there. I'm on my way. But the thing is, it would have been a long, boring journey of just consistency. Consistency is the key. Having people around you is the key. I got people that I ask questions and have people around me, and you need to have that exact same resource. And for many people, this channel has been that resource, and I'm happy to be that resource for you. You guys know that I answer questions via email. You guys know you can also book a call with me, but that is what this channel is for, which is why If you leave a comment, there are a lot of times where I will take that comment and make a whole video out of it, because that is what this community is for. That is what these videos are for. But those are the things I've learned by working with 36 millionaire clients. It might be 40 by the end of the year. But if you want to learn more about finance, investing, and everything in between, you want to check out this video right here.